Hi, this is Usha. Welcome to Rathod's IAS classes. Today in this lecture, we are going to see current affairs of 13th May 2021. So let's get started with our discussion and let us see first article. Title says Israel-Palestinian clashes trigger fears on a full-scale war. So this article mainly talk about Israel-Palestinian issue here, conflict. So this article will be important regarding GS paper 2 under international relations. So first let us see context why it is in news, and we are going to see each and everything regarding this Israel-Palestinian conflict. So whoever beginners who are watching this lecture, then they can understand what is this Israel-Palestine conflict. Okay. So now let us see first context. So before saying context, let us see where is this Israel and where is this Palestine is present. And if you see here, this part, it is Israel here. Okay, so this pink colored thing, so this area, it is Israel here. And here we have this Gaza strip here. And here we have West Bank here. And here we have Tel Aviv. And here we have Golan Heights. And here it is Mediterranean Sea. Here Syria is there. Here Jordan is there, and at boundary between Israel and Jordan we have this Dead Sea. So these are some important things or important areas that you need to know before knowing about this what is this Israel-Palestine conflict. So you have to remember Gaza Strip, Golan Heights, West Bank. Okay, so these are three important areas, and here you have to also remember here Jerusalem. So first now let us see context why it is in news. So if you see context, it mainly says that relentless rocket fire and rioting in mixed Jewish Arab towns fueled growing fears. So what happened here in this Israel, and there is some clashes happening between Israel and Palestine here. So in this conflict that led to violence. Okay, so this violence that could also spiral into a full-scale war between Israel and Palestine. So because of this is in news. And now let us see some important details. If you see here, Israel Defense Minister, he vowed more attacks on Hamas. Okay, Hamas, they are mainly having support from Iran. Okay, so these Hamas, they want to liberate this Palestinians. So here Israel's defense minister, he warned more attacks on Hamas and other Palestinian militant groups in Gaza. Mainly this step taken by Israel defense minister to bring some total long-term quiet before considering a ceasefire in this area. So if you see here, Gaza militants, they have launched over 1,000 rockets, and in retaliation Israel army also carried out hundreds of air strikes on this Islamist group. So here, because of this event, there are many countries that are present in the world, they are responding to this event. So even United Nations Security Council, which needed for another emergency meeting for this bloody crisis that is happening in Israel and Palestine. So this is about this article, and now let us see and let us try to understand what is this Israel-Palestine conflict. So to understand this, first you know about Jews. Here Jews, they are one of persecuted people. In 1897, they came up with the Zionist movement. So they came up with establishment of World Zionist Organization. And after this establishment of this World Zionist Organization, the important aim, it is to make homeland for Jews in Palestine. So after this World Zionist Organization which was formed, and what happened after this, here Jews, they flooded. The influx of this Jews that happened in this Palestine, that is seen. So later on in 1917, the seeds of this conflict that were laid in. So here this under this Balfour Declaration, British Foreign Secretary, he expressed his official support mainly for Jewish people and Jewish, that is a Palestine, to be the national home for Jewish. So because of this, Arabs, they led some prolonged violence in this area. And here Britain, they are unable to contain this Arab Jewish violence. So because of this, here Britain withdrew its forces from this Palestine in year 1948, and it left responsibility of maintaining peace to United Nations. So in this context, United Nations, it presented a partition plan to create independent Jewish and as well as Arab states in Palestine. So this partition plan accepted by Jews but not Arabs. So later on in 1948, Jewish declaration of Israel independence that happened, and later on it led to Arab states on attack. For example, here nearby states like Jordan, okay, and Syria, they started attacking on Israel here. So at end of war here, Israel that became victorious and it got control of about more than 50% of territory, okay. So here earlier Jordan mainly controlled Western Bank and Jerusalem. Egypt controlled this Gaza Strip here. So what happened because of this victory of Israel, here Jews, they fled to different countries and they become refugees. So later on in 1964, these Jews, they come together and they founded Palestinian Liberation Organization, and later on in 1967, a 6-day Arab-Israeli war that happened. So in this war, Israeli forces, they seized Golan Heights from Syria and Western Bank and Jerusalem from Jordan, Sinai Peninsula and Gaza Strip from Egypt here. So after this war also, Israel became very much victorious. Okay, so because of this 1967 war that became one important reason for ongoing today's conflict in this Israel and Palestine here. Because this West Bank and Gaza Strip, it is home for a large number of Palestinians, but now it also comes under control of Israel here. So if you see this image here, so in 1947, that is before this war here, so this Palestine mainly, which mainly here Jews are very much concentrated here, okay. But what happened in after partition plan here, so this green color part which is under control of Palestine, and this area mainly contains these Jews. But what happened after this 1967 war, so most of these areas which are under control of Palestine, they are occupied by Israel. And if you see present here this only small pockets of areas in Western Bank and Gaza Strip, they are under control of Palestine, and majority of control which enter into the hands of Israel. So if you see here this map here, then we can understand how Palestinians, they lost land from 1947 till present to Israel, okay. So this is about this thing. And now let us talk about two important groups. First one is Hamas, second one is Fatah. So Hamas mainly seen in this area, okay, and Fatah mainly seen in this Western Bank here. So if you are talking about Hamas, they are Islamist militant group and they got support from Iran and Syria, and they want liberation of Palestine, and they refuse to recognize this Israel as a country. But if you see, there is another faction, that is Fatah. So this Fatah, it is a faction of this Palestine Liberation Organization, and it received support from some Western nations. So finally they come up with Oslo Peace Accord. So this Oslo Peace Accord in year 1993, which talks about two-state solutions. So here is this Oslo Accord mainly signed between Israel and Palestine Liberation Organization, which signed this agreement, but this is not accepted by Fatah here. So because of this, it is causing some conflict between Israel and Palestine till now. So this is about this topic. And now let us see next article. Title says need 6 to 8 more weeks of lockdown. So it is a statement which is given by ICMR chief. So this article will be very important regarding governance and also health point of view, which comes under GS paper 2. So now let us try to understand this topic in a very great detail. So if you see context, it mainly says that ICMR chief, Indian Council of Medical Research chief, said that there is a need of 6 to 8 weeks of lockdown in India. So if you're talking about some more details, they said that so several states, they have introduced varying levels of curbs on economic activity and as well as public movement. Some states, they came up with partial lockdown. Some states, they came up with imposition of night curfew, etc. Here mainly they are taking these steps to restrict people movement and as well as to curb economic activity that will stop the spread of virus, right? And if you see here one important concern we are facing is in this second wave of this coronavirus, there is high rate of positivity that is seen, and positivity mainly reached 35%. And India, it is in a deep crisis in current wave of this coronavirus pandemic. And whenever we want to curb this transmission of this cases of this coronavirus, so lockdown should be used as a last resort. We need to focus on micro containment zones. So these are some important details. And now let us see some facts regarding this ICMR. So ICMR stands for Indian Council of Medical Research. So it is an apex body in India. It is responsible for formulation, coordination and promotion of biomedical research in India. And this ICMR founded by Government of India through Department of Health Research, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. So this ICMR mainly mandated to conduct, to coordinate and to implement medical research for benefit of society, and also helpful for translating medical innovations regarding products or processes and introducing them for a public health system. So these are some important things that you should remember regarding this topic. And now let us see next article. Title says child marriages may go unnoticed amid lockdown. So this article mainly focusing on child marriage. So it is one of important challenge we are facing even now in this 21st century. So as we know, in ancient history and as well as in medieval history, there used to be have these child marriages. And if you're talking about our modern history, there are many freedom fighters. They mainly fought against these child marriages, right? And now also we are seeing these child marriages means we need to know how society mainly do not change from some thousands of years. Okay, so now let us try to understand this article in a very great detail. So this article will be important regarding GS paper 2 under governance and as well as under society point of view. So now let us see first context. So if you see context, it mainly says that so because of this second wave of coronavirus, now we are going for imposition of lockdown again. So many states, they went for imposition of lockdown. So in this lockdown period, many child rights activists, they alarmed to see there is increase in child marriages cases. They are reported in especially in Karnataka states. So now again we are going for lockdown. So because of this child marriages, they will go again unnoticed in many states. So this is context. And if you see some details in this article, it mainly says that Karnataka State's Commission for the Protection of Child Rights, it reported 2,180 child marriages cases, that is from April 2020 to January 2021. So within this short period of time itself, there are about 2,180 child marriages they are reported. And next one is some activities and organizations, they have raised this issue with ministries and as well as Department of Women and Child Development, but in this lockdown conditions, they are going on unnoticed. So one homework I want to give you, so please let me know what are reasons behind child marriages and let me know in comment box. And now let us say next article. Title says protecting prisoners. So regarding this topic, we also discussed in our Hindu analysis in our earlier lectures. So this article will be important regarding GS paper 2 under polity, and this topic will be important especially regarding mains point of view. So now let us try to discuss this article in a very great detail. So as we know, whenever any person who done any crime, so FIR will be filed and he will be kept in jails. Okay, if you see in prisoners, mainly if you see in jails, so number of prisoners are increasing. We are seeing some important problems like overcrowding. Okay, and even in those prisoners, there are more than 60% of prisoners, they are under trials itself. So now here, to prevent transmission of this coronavirus, we need to maintain some physical distance. But in jails, there is increasing overcrowding, so there is no way to maintain this physical distance. So what happened whenever any person who got tested positive with this coronavirus, he have largest amount of chances to spread this disease to number of prisoners and as well as guards who are protecting these prisoners, right? So because of this is cause of concern, and we need to also think about these people who are in these prisoners also. So this is responsibility of government. So now let us try to understand this article in a very great detail. So here this article mainly talking about overcrowding of prisons. So this overcrowding of prisons, it is one of perennial problem in this country, and we can also see there is high occupancy levels. So because of this there is increased risk of coronavirus pandemic in these prisons. And next one is here Supreme Court recently came up with one order. So Supreme Court has been intervening from time to time to address this problem of prisoners or overcrowding of these jails here. So recently Supreme Court came up with order which mainly directed government for interim release of eligible prisoners due to uncontrolled second wave of this global pandemic. So last year in 2020 October also court had addressed the states, court ordered the states to take some preventive steps and also to come up with the setting up of high powered committee to determine the classes of prisoners and who can be released on bail or who cannot be released. So this is the important thing which is taken by Supreme Court. Here court also continues its trends to seeking to protect prisoners as well as those who guarding them from getting infected. So even if one guard who is mainly protecting these prisoners, he got infected, so he have tendency mainly to transmit or to spread this disease to number of prisoners as well, right? So because of this, here court ordered state governments mainly to take some preventive measures to protect prisoners and also guards. Okay, and court also said that there is a need to take some significant initiatives to prevent any uncontrollable spread with this congested jails here. So under that some measures like there is a stopping of practice of transporting remand prisoners to court hearings. So these are some important steps which are also taken here. So court, in this context we can say whatever court order which came up, that is very much welcome. So this will be helpful mainly for decongestion of jails, and it can be also helpful to take some measures to protect life or right of life and as well as right to health of these prisoners. And now here issue of reducing occupancies in prison, and it is under now focus. So why we are focusing on occupancy in prisons? Because we are facing one problem, that is overcrowding of jails, and there is also vulnerability of prisons and as well as prison staff to infection and as well as disease here. And if you see now, this article mainly talks about some concerns. So first one is there are many reports which says that prisoners also testing positive and they are getting hospitalized. So whenever prisoners who are getting this COVID-19, so there are also some concerns like whether there is regular testing that can be done and whether there is a medical treatment which is available to these prisoners across country will be effective or not, it is unclear. So this is one cause of concern. And next one is if you are talking about these political prisoners, for example, they are jailed under this Bhima Koregaon case, there is no direct link with violence regarding this Bhima Koregaon, but they are kept in jail here, and these people they are repeatedly denying bail also. And next one is there are some political activists in Delhi also jailed under this anti-terrorism laws. So because of this here, these people who are not committed any crime here, they are mainly kept in prisons and their right to life and right to health, it is violated now. And if you see recently Supreme Court order which rightly emphasized mainly on need to adhere to norms. So these norms are provided under one famous judgment, that is Arnesh Kumar versus State of Bihar 2014. So in this judgment Supreme Court said that police they were asked not to effect unnecessary arrest here. So especially in case that we involve jail terms of less than 7 years, we do not go for unnecessary arrest. And next one is Supreme Court also asked authorities in all districts in countries to give effect regarding section 436A of Criminal Procedure Code, which mainly says that under trials who take some complete half of maximum prison form of a prescribed punishment here. So they need to be released. So these are some important way forward which is given in this article. First, we need to follow norms under this Anish Kumar versus State of Bihar, and as well as we need to go for section 436A of CRPC, and we need to release people who are already completed their half amount of their punishment, especially for this under trials. And now let us talk about next article. Title says a bullet train to hunger. So this article mainly talking about social security schemes. So here this article mainly says that because of this pandemic, there are number of people and number of sections of our society which mainly hit it hard. And this article giving some data like there is increased in hunger. So many people lost their job, there is no proper income, there is no proper livelihood. So because of this, intake of food also affected here. So here in this context, this article mainly talks about two important acts, National Food Security Act, and next one is MG Narega, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act. So this article mainly says that we need to expand the social security nets to provide or to ensure food security for millions of people in country. So this is some background here, and this topic will be important regarding GS paper 2 under schemes, policies and programs of government. So now let us try to see this article in a very great detail. So this article mainly talking about social security nets. Here if you are talking about rural urban divide, so now recently one report which released, it says that State of Working India's report 2021 by Azim Premji University. So this report mainly says that nearly half of formal salaried workers, because of this COVID-19, they move towards informal work. Okay, so this is first important thing. And next one is here national minimum wage threshold of rupees 375 per day. So more than 3 crore individuals, they have been pushed below this minimum salary. And next one is poverty rates that have been increased in India. In rural area it is increased by 15% and in urban area it increased by 20%. So these are some key highlights of this report, that is State of Working India Report 2021 by Azim Premji University. And next one is Center for Equity Studies. It mainly done by this Hunger Watch, which conducted survey in 4,000 individuals and mainly focused on understanding hunger and as well as livelihood situation. So if you see highlights, it mainly says that so income reduced by half or quarter, okay, and more than half income loss that is seen in urban respondents and 1/3 of income loss for rural respondents. And if you see in month of October, 26% of rural people, they do not have any income. And if you are talking about urban areas, 30% of urban people, they do not have any income in month of October. And next one is 54% of urban areas, they had to borrow money for food. And if you are talking about rural areas, it is 16% less when compared to that of urban areas. And next one is 2/3 of urban respondents, they had to skip meal because of lack of proper income. And 41%, which is lower, that is seen in rural areas. And next one is if you are talking about urban respondents, they experienced about 12% of reduction in consumption of grains and pulses and compared to that of rural respondents. And if you are talking about important laws, this article talked about two important laws. First one is National Food Security Act. Third and second one is here MG Narega, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act. The first one is National Food Security Act. We all know, right, under this act, whoever beneficiary, they will get subsidized food grains, that is 5 kgs per person per month at a subsidized rate. So even because of imposition of this lockdown due to coronavirus pandemic, government announced this Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana. So under this, there is additional entitlement of 5 kgs of food grains per person per month and as well as 1 kg of pulse for households, which is provided by government at free of cost. And next one, recently HW survey said that higher respondents from rural areas, they have 56% of these respondents, they are having this National Food Security Guarantee Act cards here, and urban areas they contain just 27%. So the many respondents, out of this 36% of respondents, they said that they do not have access to these ration cards, and in rural areas 15% of rural areas they do not have this access to this ration cards. And if you are talking about next one, that is MG Narega, so 47% of increase in person days of work in 2021, that we have evidence compared to that of 2019 to 2020 here, and it recorded 72 lakh households. They completed about 100 days of work in 1 year. And this article says that there is still a long that can go here. So under this National Food Security Act and MG Narega Act, so we have at least demonstrated the importance of social security net. Okay, so if you see in India, there are almost or at least 33 crore poor households in India are present, and they do not have even some basic survival needs are not ensured for those people. So in this context, what can be done? What is need? First one is there are more than 100 million tons of food grains that are stored in warehouses of this Food Corporation of India, and we can go for expanding of average beneficiaries under this National Food Security Act. Next one is we need to initiate some urban employment program. In rural areas we are having this MG Narega, in same lines in urban areas also we need to expand this urban employment program. And next one is we need to come up or we need to start this urban employment program. And next one is we need to increase entitlements under this MG Narega scheme. So these are some way forward. And now let us see next article. So before saying this article, I want to make a small announcement. So if you want to clear UPSC in 2022, so we came with one excellent, beneficial and also highly useful course, that is Current Affairs package along with mains answer writing practice. So how this course will be useful to clear UPSC 2022? So one thing you need to remember here is before entering into examination hall, you need to know at least 1.5 years current affairs for sure. Okay, so for this course is very beneficial. And many students who are beginners or who are freshers, they ignore this mains answer writing practice. So even though if those people they clear prelims, they cannot clear mains without proper answer writing skills. So you need to focus on this answer writing skills in initial stages, at beginning stages itself. And next one is if you join this course, we also conduct prelims test on every Sunday along with the video solutions or video explanation part. So in this way, this course it is designed as per demand of UPSC. So finally, I want to say one thing. Please don't take this course as a choice. Try to join this course as soon as possible and achieve your dream of clearing UPSC. And next important thing is for further details of this course, the link which is given in description box. So please visit that once. And if you talk to me regarding this course, you can call me on this number 8074765513. Okay, and now let's come back and let us see next article. Title says the science teaching and rationality India needs. So this article made it talking about science teaching, and just we should not go for book learning or rote learning. We need to go for practical also. So whenever we are going for practical or experimental basis, then only we can understand concepts easily, and we can also implement or we can also use those experiments in our real life. That will helpful for overall growth and development of our country. So this is some background, and now let us try to see this article in a great detail. So this article will be important regarding GS paper 2 under education and health, and this topic will also important regarding essay point of view. So overall this article will be important regarding mains. And now let us see first. So this article mainly talking about neglect of education and health in India. So if you're talking about education in India, so normally children, they will go to schools and they will listen whatever teacher taught, and they will come back and they will do homework and they will by heart whatever teacher gave homework, and finally they will go to schools and they will write test and they will get marks. So this is the education which is going on in our education in India. So if you see here, children, they have scored marks by giving some correct answer to question in exam, and they will get some good ranks. For example, if you are talking about spread of diseases like malaria, so malaria, it is a protozoal disease caused by mosquito bite, that is female Anopheles mosquito here. So here malaria mainly caused by mosquito. Mainly to prevent this malaria, simply we can go for avoiding of this mosquito bite. So if you are talking about mosquitoes, they mainly breeds in stagnant water. Okay, so if you are talking about this stagnant water, there are some very rare schools that give task made to children to go around to notice whether this stagnant puddles they are having some larvae of here mosquito or not here. So here if you see in textbook, it mainly says that, so here breeding of mosquitoes that mainly seen in stagnant water. To avoid this, we need to sprinkle kerosene on that. Whenever kerosene is sprinkled here, it will not allow dissolving of oxygen into that. Finally, the larvae which is present in that area, that will be got died here. Okay, so this is the rational reason behind this spreading of kerosene. But many schools they mainly taught, and later on they will take test, and finally they will not try even to recall whatever the things they studied here. So this is one of important thing we are losing in our education system. And next important example here is, before advent of antibiotics, we have number of diseases which are very much dangerous or deadly. For example, typhoid is there, even jaundice is there. They were very much life-threatening before advent of this antibiotics here. So doctors, they knew that it is possible to prevent this both diseases like typhoid and jaundice. It is mainly prevented through taking, or whenever we are avoiding taking this contaminated water, then we can finally prevent that disease. Okay, so this can be done mainly by boiling of drinking water. So along with these antibiotics, here water purifying devices and as well as bottled waters, they have been distanced us from experiencing some associated with waterborne diseases, and also they are prevalent before 1970s also. Even there is another disease, that is common diarrhea, which is still posing a threat to the life of children here. Okay, so here when we want to prevent this type of diarrhea, we need to go for taking of clean water. Okay, so what happens whenever we want to prevent these deaths which are caused by this diarrhea here, government need to provide some clean drinking water supply to all people, such that there will be decrease in this communicable diseases, like we can say some diseases that can be prevented. Okay, second one here is, India also ended up mainly addressing problem of drinking water, but it is mainly go for popularizing of some personalized devices rather than providing clean water supply to households. So if you see in India, there is absence of public systems that prove very much costly. Regarding if there is no proper health and as well as no proper education, then we can see higher burden that will be seen in our near future. And next one is, if you are talking about education, teaching science from primary level, it is a major policy initiative that to be taken in early decades of our independence. So for example, if you see, when we want to prevent this type of disease, that is waterborne disease like cholera and as well as some diarrhea, etc. So we need to go for boiling of water. So whenever we are boiling water, so whatever organisms which are present in that water, that will be killed. So this thing is not known even to some students who are mainly now in secondary as well as higher education also here. So it is one of important matter of concern now. So if you see conclusion, author mainly says that science teaching alone cannot create miracles, but for science, rational social environment is also very much needed, and children whenever they are in young age or childhood age only, we need to incorporate this social environment. So this is about the gist of this topic. I hope it is clear. By this we are concluding today. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. Please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to like, share and comment my videos. And don't forget to enroll this current affairs package. Thank you so much.